You, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear.
That you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of your ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Vice President Johnson, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chief Justice, President Eisenhower, Vice President Nixon, President Truman, Reverend clergy, fellow citizens. We observe today not a victory of party, but a celebration of freedom, symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change. For I have sworn before you and Almighty God the same solemn oath our forebears prescribed nearly a century and 3/4 ago. The world is very different now, for man holds in his mortal hands the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life. And yet the same revolutionary beliefs for which our forebears fought are still at issue around the globe. The belief that the rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. We dare not forget today that we are the heirs of that first revolution. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century, tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage, and unwilling to witness or permit the slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. This much we pledge and more. To those old allies whose cultural and spiritual origins we share, we pledge the loyalty of faithful friends. United, there is little we cannot do in a host of cooperative ventures. Divided, there is little we can do, for we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds and split asunder. To those new states whom we welcome to the ranks of the free, we pledge our word that one form of colonial control shall not have passed away merely to be replaced by a far more iron tyranny. We shall not always expect to find them supporting our view, but we shall always hope to find them strongly supporting their own freedom, and to remember that in the past, those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. To those people in the huts and villages of half the globe struggling to break the bonds of mass misery, we pledge our best efforts to help them help themselves for whatever period is required, not because the communists may be doing it, not because we seek their votes, but because it is right. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. To our sister republics south of our border, we offer a special pledge to convert our good words into good deeds, in a new alliance for progress, to assist free men and free governments in casting off the chains of poverty. But this peaceful revolution of hope cannot become the prey of hostile powers. Let all our neighbors know that we shall join with them to oppose aggression or subversion anywhere in the Americas. And let every other power know that this hemisphere intends to remain the master of its own house. To that World Assembly of Sovereign States, the United Nations, our last best hope, in an age where the instruments of war have far outpaced the instruments of peace, we renew our pledge of support to prevent it from becoming merely a forum for invective, to strengthen its shield of the new and the weak, and to enlarge the area in which its writ may run. Finally, to those nations who would make themselves our adversary, we offer not a pledge, but a request that both sides begin anew the quest for peace. Before the dark powers of destruction, unleashed by science, engulf all humanity in planned or accidental self-destruction, we dare not tempt them with weakness, for only when our arms are sufficient beyond doubt can we be certain beyond doubt that they will never be employed. But neither can two great and powerful groups of nations take comfort from our present course, both sides overburdened by the cost of modern weapons, both rightly alarmed by the steady spread of the deadly atom, yet both racing to alter that uncertain balance of terror that stays the hand of mankind's final war. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. Let both sides explore what problems unite us, instead of belaboring those problems which divide us. Let both sides, for the first time, formulate serious and precise proposals for the inspection and control of arms, and bring the absolute power to destroy other nations under the absolute control of all nations. Let both sides seek to invoke the wonders of science instead of its terrors. Together, let us explore the stars, conquer the deserts, eradicate disease, tap the ocean depths, and encourage the arts and commerce. Let both sides unite to heed in all corners of the earth the command of Isaiah to undo the heavy burden and let the oppressed go free. And if a beachhead of cooperation may push back the jungle of suspicion, let both sides join in creating a new endeavor, not a new balance of power, but a new world of law, where the strong are just and the weak secure and the peace preserved. All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin. In your hands, my fellow citizens, more than mine, will rest the final success or failure of our course. Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty. The graves of young Americans who answered the call to service surround the globe. Now the trumpet summons us again, not as a call to bear arms, though arms we need, not as a call to battle, though in battle we are, but a call to bear the burden of a long twilight struggle, year in and year out, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, a struggle against the common enemies of man, tyranny, poverty, disease, and war itself. Can we forge against these enemies a grand and global alliance, north and south, east and west, that can assure a more fruitful life for all mankind? Will you join in that historic effort? In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it. I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. Finally, whether you are citizens of America or citizens of the world, ask of us here the same high standards of strength and sacrifice which we ask of you. With a good conscience, our only sure reward, with history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth God's work must truly be our own.
Ой, и мелкий прибежал в конце. Это еще не все. Еще все поступления идут. Так, начинается. Блин, они Саня не дают даже сывать. Смотри, они бегают кругами как.
Это сегодня они какие-то вообще голодавшие.
Сейчас надо 2 булки старого хлеба для них взять, блин. Кормить их сегодня. Слышь, надо за капустой сегодня съездить, за той. Чтоб хоть пожрать им будет. Ты еще постучи, наверное, еще прибегут. Смотри, как скачут, да?
The hand pieces are up. Timekeepers ready, this is the final. Competitors set, go! Away we go, 2 feet into the first line leg. Dion King up the neck, David Fagan up the neck after him. 10 minutes in front, 6, 5, 7, 8. I can't keep up. 9 seconds. David Fagan winding through the long road. 11, 12, they're both three for home together. Hickory and Hastings bring the trophy down tonight. 1 hour. David Fagan makes it over 19 seconds. 20 seconds out of speed comes. Out comes Dion King. They're all still there. Into the first one, they're going to get it. Oh, up the neck together. 28 seconds to all flying. Round over the first line legs, everyone. 32. Who's going to hit you? David Fagan going over the last one shoulder. Dion King right there. 37. David Fagan right out of the back leg. 42. In the front. Blaster. 40.
waking up, I'm taking chances tonight. I'm opening my eyes and I'm feeling alive. You give me all the strength that I need, and I wanna know if I can be by your side.
Schalgaar. En daar hebben we een geitenbedrijf met 1800 melkgeiten. Tot voor kort molken we in een 2 keer 40 stands zee-aan-zee melkstal. In dat systeem ben je veel tijd kwijt met het wisselen van de koppels. En ook het wisselen in de melkstal vraagt veel tijd. Er zijn heel veel wezen kijken voordat we de stap gezet hebben naar een nieuwe melkstal. De eerste paar keer kwamen we toch weer thuis dat we dachten van ja, het is er niet. Totdat we in contact kwamen met Dairy Master en die was van plan om een totaal nieuw concept op te zetten en dat sprak ons wel aan. We hebben ook onze dingen die we onderweg gezien hebben we met hun besproken en die hebben hun ook in de melkstal ingebouwd. Daar is dit het resultaat van. Wij hebben dus voor deze melkstal gekozen omdat we het bedrijf echt als gezinsbedrijf willen doen. We willen zo min mogelijk vreemde arbeid erbij hebben, maar toch ook nog wel een sociaal leven overhouden. Als je als gezin 10 uur per dag aan het melken bent, dan betekent dat altijd 1 persoon van een gezin, of heel vaak in ons geval wel 2 personen van een gezin, in die melkstal zijn. En nu we weer binnen 2 uur het melken af hebben gerond, blijft er gewoon sociaal gezien veel meer gezinstijd over. Dat je op normale tijden 's avonds het werk of hebt en dat niet als er 's avonds een feestje of wat is, dat een van de gezinsleden toch weer het melken moet gaan doen. Het heeft eigenlijk vanaf de eerste dag heeft het goed gelopen. Er zijn geen noemenswaardige problemen opgetreden. Het was ook direct heel compleet in elkaar gezet en we hebben eigenlijk nauwelijks of geen hapering gehad. Specifiek aan de Dairy Master is toch wel het aanbieden van het melkstel. De melkstel staat altijd op dezelfde positie. Je hoeft nooit na te denken naar een melkstel. Je krijgt alleen maar een nieuwe geit ervoor en het melkstel staat goed. Daar win je gewoon secondes aansluittijd mee. En als je wens is om meer dan 1000 geiten in het uur te melken, dan weet je dat je maar 3,6 seconden hebt per geit te besteden. We waren er eigenlijk van uitgegaan dat een ronde ons 6 minuten zou kosten, maar we draaien op 4,5 minuut rond. En dus je bent ruim 2 seconden nodig om een geit aan te sluiten en dan ben je bij de volgende. Daarbij, ik wil graag zelf de dieren zien 1 of 2 keer per dag. Dat je heel kort qua gezondheid dicht bij je veestapel blijft staan. Dat was ook een belangrijk iets bij de keuze voor het melksysteem. We werken dus in deze melkstal met lokvloer en om de geiten beter in de melkstal te krijgen. Je kunt beter de geiten van voren met een snoepje voorhouden als dat je ze met een opdrijfhek van achteren aan moet gaan schuiven. We laten de melkstal tijdens het schoonmaken draaien en dan lopen we tegen de draairichting in, zodat we ongeveer in 2 minuten hebben we het platform schoon. En ook in 2 minuten zijn die melkstellen schoongespoten. Dat verloopt eigenlijk allemaal wel heel vlot. Ik krijg heel vaak de vraag van, is 120 stands, is dat nou nodig? Concurrerende merken werken allemaal met minder standen, 60, 70 standen. En wij zijn elke dag nog blij dat we gekozen hebben voor die 120 stands. En heel veel collega's die denken dat het overbodig is, dat het te veel standen, het wordt gewoon te duur, zeggen ze dan. Maar als je veel doordraai krijgt, dan druk je de capaciteit enorm naar beneden. Dus ik zou altijd collega's aanraden om te komen kijken, om mee te komen melken. En dan zien ze het zelf wel dat het niks te overdreven is.
Based in Ponoka, Boss Farms is an important piece to Alberta's goat dairy industry. This family farm and 8 others helps Sherilyn and Patrick Boss's value-added business, Rockridge Dairy, provide Western Canadians with high-quality goat cheese and fluid milk products.
It's coming together really nice.
While the farm and company have experienced steady growth, the bosses recognized they needed to expand to keep up with the increasing consumer demand for their products. With the help of industry partners and the Alberta Livestock and Meat Agency, Boss Farms decided to install a semi-automated, state-of-art goat rotary to help streamline the milking process.
in our milk plant we needed more milk, but some other farmers weren't willing to expand. And when a few other farmers were getting out of the market, we saw the opportunity to go bigger, so we bought their goats into our farm, and then we spent 1.5 years building this project, doing extremely long hours until we could make it viable to build this rotary.
I think it was really important too that somebody take that step to just professionalize the industry as well, and really be able to milk quite a number of goats in an efficient way.
Now that the rotary is fully operational, Boss Farms is starting to realize the benefits.
For one, the milking time is way shorter. The goats are in the back barn eating, and then they're in the holding pen, and they're milked, and they're back in the barn eating again, and it's 15 minutes out of their day. For our employees, it's comfortable and relaxed to milk in this manner, that the goats are coming right to you. All you do is put milkers on, and the rest is taken care of by itself.
The new rotary allows for better breeding and overall management thanks to additions of a radio frequency identification system, an automated feeder, and a detailed herd management software program. These improvements have led to the Boss Farms rotary receiving some notable international interest, including from the company in Holland that provided the deck for their rotary.
There's been a lot of international interest in the parlor. Groups from China and the States have been interested, people from Turkey, and then another in Russia, so it definitely has gone beyond Canada on this one.
With their new rotary, Boss Farms is committed to continue growing the local goat dairy industry. This will help their farm and Rockridge Dairy capitalize on future opportunities, which will help Albertans and Canadians incorporate locally sourced goat milk and cheeses into their everyday diets.